After Countdown 1945, I knew I wanted to do another history thriller about an American effort of people from all walks of life coming together in common cause. The one frustration I had about the bombing of Hiroshima is that all the key players were dead, so trying to learn about their motivation, what their private fears were, I could only get that from history books, from memoirs, from diaries, from letters. And what I thought, how great would it be if you could get this by talking to the people themselves? And that led me to Countdown Bin Laden, because all of the key players in the U.S. military, the U.S. intelligence community, the U.S. political community, they're still alive and they were around to tell their stories. Although I had been reporting on it, I came to realize how little I knew about what was really going on. Obviously, it was highly classified. It was kept completely secret until after the successful raid. But even then, a lot of it was still secret, and people were very reluctant to share much. And over the years, they would write their memoirs, but they would only tell one chapter. They would only devote one chapter to what happened in the raid that brought down bin Laden. And so I talked at great length to almost all of the key players in this story of Countdown Bin Laden. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, Secretary of Defense Robert Gates, CIA Director Panetta, some of the top people in the White House, Tom Donilon, the National Security Advisor, John Brennan, Chief Counterterrorism Officer. Then when it came to the military side, Bill McRaven, who was the head of the whole operation, the head of Joint Special Operations Command, and I think most tellingly to two of the SEALs who were on the mission to raid the compound in Abbottabad, Will Chesney, and the man who actually shot and killed Osama bin Laden, a fellow named Robert O'Neill. And he described in detail what it felt like to be in the helicopter for that 162-mile journey from Afghanistan into Pakistan to the compound in Abbottabad, what it felt like looking down on the city and looking down on the compound, what it felt like walking through the house, the first floor, then the second floor, and wondering whether somebody was going to throw a hand grenade down on the staircase and take them all out, and then finally to the third floor and charging into that room where he finally saw Osama bin Laden. That was an unforgettable story, and I think it is really an indelible part of Countdown Bin Laden. One of the most interesting things that I learned talking to the SEALs is they thought this was a one-way ticket, that many of them believed that this was a suicide mission because when they got to the compound, that it would almost certainly be booby-trapped. There would be all kinds of explosives around to take out any force that came in. And then also they suspected that bin Laden, if he was there, and they weren't sure at all that he was even in the compound, would have a number of al-Qaeda guards who would come to his rescue. So many of them thought, we're not coming back from this trip. And in fact, some of them called their relatives just before they went off of the helicopters and said, you know, this may be goodbye. But they were still determined to do it because they thought that was their job as Navy SEALs, to bring the mastermind of 9/11 to justice.